PlayStation 1 was not a powerful console, so much so that many developers had to actually hack the hardware of the PS1 itself in order to trick it into playing their games. Andy Gavin actually explained in an interview with Ars Technica that Crash Bandicoot technically isn't playable on the PS1, but they were able to trick the PS1 into making it possible. The first thing you need to understand is that all of the levels inside of Crash Bandicoot are much larger than 2 megabytes, which is important because there were only 2 megabytes of immediately accessible RAM for any game. And you can think of this as a bucket if you don't know what RAM is. Just think of it as a bucket. And inside of this bucket are all the things you're allowed to play with immediately. So all of your character models, all of your animations, your enemies, and the level. So when you sit on a loading screen for 6 to 12 seconds, that's how much time it takes to load that 2 megabytes of immediately available RAM. And when you want to go to another level or play with some other things in the game, what you have to do is sit for 6 to 12 seconds while we empty the first bucket and then go to the CD to load up the bucket with all the new stuff that you can play with. And that is the 2 megabytes of immediately accessible RAM. So how do we get Crash Bandicoot levels that are larger than that? Well, Andy Gavin figured out that 64 kilobits, if you can get your packages to be as small as 64 kilobits, that is enough that you can load things in almost instantly. And with that information, he's able to use a tactic that a lot of Game Boy developers use to create semi-open world games, kind of like Pokemon Red and Blue.